Yeah.
Felicity, Felicity. Brody. Felicity. Can you please? Look at this.
This was an incredibly difficult film to make. I'm very emotional today because I've been working on it for 7 years. And it felt urgent every day of the better part of a decade. And I'm just really grateful to everyone that spent 3.5 hours with it last night. We'll spend 3.5 hours with it later today. And the cast and crew that made this film possible, because this film does everything that we are told we are not allowed to do. I think it's quite silly, actually, to have a conversation about runtime, because that's like criticizing a book for being 700 pages versus 100 pages. I've read great novellas. I've read great, multi-volume masterpieces. And, for me, it's just about how much story there is to tell.
I was curious about the beauty that you were able to transmit. For example,
firstly, it's a beautifully written and constructed character on the page. But it is one that I felt immediate kinship and understanding for, and that I was adept to play. Some of you may know my mother's work. My mother is Sylvia Plahi. She's a wonderful photographer. She's a New York photographer. But she's also a Hungarian immigrant who fled Hungary in 1956 during the Hungarian Revolution and was a refugee and emigrated to the United States, and much like Laszlo, started again and lost her home and pursued a dream of being an artist. And I understand a great deal about the repercussions of that on her life and her work as an artist, which I think is a wonderful parallel with Laszlo's creations and how they've evolved, and how post-war psychology influences your work in a creative manner, and all other aspects of your life moving forward.
I think your film was close to perfection, for me at least. And I read on the...
So it was quite incredible that we had to deal with the noisy camera, which personally I found really sort of invigorating and exciting. And as we all know now, for those of us who have sort of spanned the era of working on film and now working in the digital realm, it's really lovely to work with machines that are actually sort of working and have a sort of a time limit. The film canister only lasts 10 minutes or whatever it does, and they have to check the gate, and there's a sort of an analog and an organic process that belongs there, and you feel like you're part of that. I mean, very quickly, I think you slip into what is most vital, which is our connection and relationship, not just with each other, but with Brady, and what Brady is giving to us and bringing to us every day. So that becomes the prime focus. But to your point, to work with some machinery that feels old-fashioned is lovely for an old fellow like me. So it was great, really.
Thanks.